and welcome to this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Today I'm once again with Suzuki's 1981 GS1100E, or GSX as it's called in Europe. If you're like me and you like classic bikes from the 70s and 80s, please feel free to like and subscribe. I feature lots of classic bike content on this channel. I have just pulled this bike back off of the lift, and I have made a lot of progress since our last update video. In our last update, we talked about some charging system issues, and I had replaced the regulator rectifier with a RIX unit. That still didn't help the bike to charge as it should. So I purchased and installed a RIX stator in the bike, and I'm happy to say that cured the issue. The bike is now charging as it should. Another item we discussed was replacing the valve cover gasket on this bike because the previous one was leaking. I went ahead and I pulled the cover off, and I discovered there was no valve cover gasket in there. That's not terribly uncommon on these bikes. People would just put a bead of sealant around the valve cover and then put that on without a gasket. So I have taken that off, and while I was in there, I retorqued my head bolts, I retorqued my cam cap bolts, and I did a valve clearance check as well. The most time-consuming part of that service was actually cleaning the valve cover itself and the mating surface on the head, but I cleaned it very thoroughly, and I used some gasket sealant, and I used the proper gasket, and so I don't anticipate any leaks with this. Thankfully, when I looked at my valves, I only had two that I had to adjust very, very slightly. If I'm in checking the valves, I like to set them on the loose side of the adjustment. Valve clearances typically get tighter over time, and so again, while I'm in there, I want to set them all more towards the loose side, and that way I won't have to adjust them for quite a while. While the bike was up on the lift and everything was accessible, I took the opportunity to clean the exhaust pipes. There's a little bit of discoloration on a couple of the pipes, and that is from somebody running the bike when the pilots were a little bit clogged, and so it ran lean on those two cylinders. I've not tried a product that was super successful at removing the bluing, but there may be one out there. If you know of one, certainly feel free to post in the comments. I also spent a good amount of time cleaning the shocks on this bike. Those cleaned up nice, and some of the bolts, and anywhere there was a little bit of rust or corrosion, I tried to deal with that and really make the bike nice. My next steps in this project are first to get the front brakes sorted out. I've got a residue on those, and I'm going to clean those here actually after I'm done filming. And then I'll take this bike for a test drive. I'll make sure that everything functions as it should, that I don't have any oil leaks from the new gasket. Once the bike is thoroughly heated up, I will bring it back and I will do an engine oil and filter change on it, and I'll also replace the rear brake fluid. I checked it. It looks like it has been replaced recently, but just for my peace of mind, I will replace that anyways. Man, I'm super excited. This thing is coming down the home stretch. I've got the bigger jobs out of the way as far as adjusting the valves and doing everything that I do while I'm in there and getting that buttoned up. So I'm very happy about that. I've got the stator installed, the charging system's functioning as it should. I'm hoping to get this bike 100% up to my specs and running as it should, so I can do a review video on it, and then also some comparison reviews with other bikes in the garage. One more thing I noticed while I was in there and checking everything, when I pull my spark plugs, they definitely need to be replaced. They look quite old, and so I already have a new set of those on order, and I will replace those as soon as I get those. I'm also trying to finish this bike up because I have my KZ1000 project bike that I have been working on, and I want to get that up on the lift, and I want to finish that up. I'm still waiting on some parts for that project, and I'll save the details of the progress I've made for another update. Alright, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, enjoy the ride.